Hey, it's Molly. Welcome back to my channel as I'm doing a series for you here on the Descendant, going through all 12 astrology signs on the Descendant, teaching you more about how to understand, interpret, and work with those energies and what to look for in your own chart. So now we're going to discuss the energy of Cancer on the Descendant, which means that the individual would have Capricorn Rising. So the rising sign or the ascendant is what was rising on the eastern horizon at the time of your birth, which makes the descendant the opposite astrology sign. The descendant here is something that everyone has in their chart. And so even if you have an empty seventh house, there's still a lot to understand based on the descendant and the ruling planet. So this here, the Cancer descendant, relates to often how you were raised, what was demonstrated to you through relational dynamics with your parents. And that's because Cancer and Capricorn are related to parental energies. And it brings up how your needs were acknowledged, addressed, and recognized. It also is the energy of sensitivity, empathy, wanting to have a soft place to land, and really needing people you trust emotionally. Now, of course, we all need people we can trust in our lives, but with the Cancer descendant, there can even be a sense of being highly selective around who those individuals are, really wanting to feel them out, make sure that they're true to their word, they're true to what they say. And there can be a defensiveness here too, because of the Cancer energy that is so soft and vulnerable that you could even have a defense mechanism in place that keeps people out. And again, this could be something based on your childhood, because Cancer is the family, and the family is our first experience of tribal energies, how people get along, what they share, how they open up. And that's going to vary widely for all of us. So the Cancer descendant is going to highlight the role of the mother or someone who was a mother to you. It's going to also highlight how you learned to listen to your heart, to what you need, to be soft with yourself, and to also have people you can go to who allow you to unwind, to be who you are, to just let it out. It's sort of this energy of seeking out emotional connections because it feels good to have those kinds of frequencies around. So with the Cancer descendant, the role of family is important, and that includes your kids, if you have kids or if you want kids, and how they show up, how you take care of them, how you nurture them, or even how you need to be nurtured. Because the Cancer energy, sometimes it overgives to the point where it's everybody else is being taken care of. Like you're the caretaker for everyone else, and then you realize, oh, I have needs too, but those needs can be withheld or repressed if you're not able to communicate them or share them with a partner. And that would be one of the things that the Cancer energy is learning, especially Cancer on the descendant, is to open up and share what you need, to put it out there, to let someone know. And chances are you don't do that until you feel a trust or a bond with them. So with this energy, we then follow the energy trail, and Cancer is ruled by the moon. So then you would look in your chart at the energy of your moon. And in this example chart, you can see that the moon is up here in Scorpio at the top of the chart, conjunct the midheaven. So what this does is it elevates the role of the mother in this individual's upbringing, and how the mother created a certain energy signature or impression around safety, sharing, vulnerability, trust, and how that has been a key part in this person understanding who they allow into their life. Now you can see that this moon is at 10 degrees of Scorpio, and so it actually trines the descendant here. And every trine is a beneficial energy. So it opens up the emotional world and really needing safety, personal expression, someone who gets it. And that moon in Scorpio, it's always an interesting one. And that's one that when I was doing client sessions, which I'm no longer doing, but when I was doing client sessions, it was always very clear how somebody has tuned into their emotional world based on their mother with the moon in Scorpio. And it's basically like, was your mother someone who was very strong and formidable and was able to be there for you, to empower you, to give you a sense of your importance, to understand the depth of your emotional world, who would listen, who would be there as a shoulder to cry on, who was a powerful emotional support system for you? Or was the mother someone who was jealous, manipulative, created trauma or abusive situations? Did she play games with you? Did she make you guess what she needed you to do? Was she passive aggressive? Did that moon in Scorpio make it all a big, really difficult thing to figure out how to be loved, how to be understood? Was the mother present for your needs, or was she only involved in her own emotional depths and she never fully understood what you were about or what you needed? And oftentimes it was very clear, one side or the other, what that moon in Scorpio represented for someone, for the native of the chart. Oftentimes it was the unhealthy lower moon in Scorpio expressions. So in this chart, what we will look at then is what that moon in Scorpio needs that it never got when it was younger. So if you have Cancer as your descendant, go right to your moon. And this is where you could have more healing work. You could need support with your own emotional process and understanding about the validity of your needs, feeling safe, feeling heard, especially if you did not receive that when you were younger, if that was something that was void or absent in your experience. In this chart, you can see too that the moon is so high up there that this person could have just, chin up and get on with it in the 10th house. Just keep going. Just focus on what you're moving towards, on that passion. Invest all your energy into work. Really go for what elevates you, where you're recognized, where you're seen. It validates you. You can see down here, there's also planets in the 4th house requiring the grounding presence of Taurus energies. So what you'd want to do is, again, identify where your moon is. Did your moon sign receive what it needed when you were younger? Because that is going to be the key to opening and unlocking the door of your descendant. And this is going to vary widely. It's going to be very different than, so in this chart, obviously moon is in Scorpio. Well, it's going to look different. If your moon is in Aquarius, your moon is in Leo, your moon is in Virgo. That's a different emotional world, a different emotional needs. But this is, again, where astrology becomes so individualized and personalized. So the moon is very important for you. If you have Cancer on the descendant, it's also a very private energy. And with the Capricorn rising, you come across a certain way. Commanding, authoritative, in charge, not vulnerable. No weakness here. Only flex, only strength. And so this could be something that pulls you into a whole nother experience of your energy, but is really eye-opening and validating for how you were raised. The role of the mother, the role of the father, which is important too, because as we're talking about the Cancer descendant being ruled by the moon, the Capricorn Rising is ruled by Saturn. So that's something else to bring into this examination. And as I mentioned in these videos, in each video I'm showing you something different. Even though I know you're probably watching for your own descendant, I'm showing you something different in each video. And so in this video, it's the role of not only the ruler of the descendant, which is the moon, but it's the ruler of the ascendant that is important to examine too. And in this case, it's Saturn, which is over here in the 4th house in Taurus, and the 4th house also being about early childhood, foundational emotional experiences, where you came from, ancestral lineage and your family. This can often represent the father. So you could have, with this particular pairing of energy, you're looking at the moon and Saturn in your chart. Do they have any aspects? Are they in a square, in a conjunction, a trine, an opposition? You would look at the relationship between the moon and Saturn. And here, it's such a clear theme. I mean, it keeps reiterating the same theme around the influence of family when this person was younger. And see how this Saturn is conjunct Mercury? And that can even be what was shut down, what was not heard, what you didn't know how to speak about. So look at both Saturn and the moon in your chart if you have Cancer descendant. And that's going to open up more about essentially your formative years and how the example of your parents might have left a bigger mark on you than you realized, and could have been very significant in how you learned to create or not create healthy, mature relationships as you've gotten older. So that concludes our examination here of the Cancer descendant. And I'll be back and we will roll on and look at the Leo descendant, and I'll share some other things for you to check out in your chart as well. Thank you so much for joining me for this series. Be sure and check out the playlist here on YouTube if you want to catch up, review, or go over anything again. And I'll see you in the next video soon.